Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's your boy Valence, and today I will be showing you guys another version of the Gren Maju deck that I showed y'all last video. Today I will be incorporating the Golden Castle card into it. Now this card is very good because it first of all has a lot of text, so a lot of times your opponents will just glance over it. You do get a free summoning every turn, and anytime they declare an attack with their monster, they get destroyed and take half of that battle damage. That is not a once per turn, and that is what makes this card so amazing. We're gonna run a couple of the same cards in here, but there are some notable differences. And this deck is just really great at putting a lot of monsters on the field because you do get that special summon, and it's good at breaking boards because both of the Golden Castle cards, which is the Hextrude and the Glyph the Phantom Bird, they both have really good effects whenever they're summoned on the field. So that being said, let's get right to it. So here's the cards I have them set up, and starting off, we will be showing you the first main difference of this deck. We are running 3 Grand Mages this time. You are banishing a lot. One of the requirements of Golden Castle is that you do banish the top 10 cards from your deck every single standby phase. So unless you pop it or they get rid of it, which after reading it, they will try to get rid of it. You're banishing that many cards, so you need 3 of them. Also, I just picked up this ultra rare Korean version of the Golden Grand Maju. Super dope. Now, the similarities that I covered over in the previous Grand Maju video, we do have the 3 Bigfoots here, 3 Thunderbird. Pretty straightforward, but if you haven't watched that video, go ahead and watch it. And just to summarize them, Bigfoot, if it gets discarded, it pops 1 face-up card on the field. Thunderbird pops 1 face-down on the field. So, you have a lot of ways to force their traps or get rid of their problematic monsters. Now, up next, still MVP of any Grand Maju deck, really, 3 Gizmic. Banishes 8 every time you want to recycle it. Like I said, that is 3200 attack and defense for a Grand Maju, and so that's 32, and then that's 4k every standby phase with the Golden Castle. So very easy, very easy to get Golden Grand Maju into over 9,000 attack. We have the Kaijus, same same ratios. Now, if you with Flunderies being so relevant in the meta right now, you could cut one of these to have a third Godarla to play around the barrier statue. But then again, there's other ways to get rid of the barrier statue, discarding Bigfoot, or with the interrupted Kaiju slumber. So, if you want to, you can. But with Marensis being up there now, Gamma-Seal is a better option in my opinion. Dogoran, if you want the higher attack power, since we are not playing alpha in this deck, you can definitely incorporate it. It's just I found it that I would much rather have the beat stick on my side. Now up next, we do have the Golden Castle cards, 2 Hextrude and 2 Phantom Bird. Hextrude, it gets you can normal summon without tributing if you have Golden Castle in the field, or you can search it with Golden Castle. Both of these are searchable with Golden Castle. And Hextrude's secondary effect is that she gets to pop a card on the field, and anytime she does that, a monster gains 400 attack. It doesn't have to be her. It could be any other monster that you have on your side of the field. And also, whenever she pops, she can make 2 attacks on monsters that turn as well. So if you want to, pop Golden Castle, give Hextrude that 400. It comes with 3k. If they have 2 monsters on the field, get rid of them, and it's super easy to hit for a game from there. Glyph is really your terraforming of the deck because his first effect is if he gets you can discard him and special summon, search a Golden Castle, add it to your hand, and then you could go ahead and activate it from there. Now his second effect is also really good because if he gets special or normal summoned, you could get rid of a spell or trap on field. And That's like really great. That's another Thunderbird pretty much. But 9 times out of 10, I am going into Golden Castle from Glyph. Up next, we have a great extender in the deck. That is Astral Karibo. You use his effect in hand to reveal any level 8 XZs in your extra deck. He becomes a level 8. You normal summon him, and then you are able to go into like Draglubion or any other level 8 number monster, because that's the kind of drawback of using this effect. You can only special summon number XZs while he's on the field. So, but it's great because they get battle and card protection. And that is not like, he doesn't have to be a material for that to go live. As soon as you make the whatever XZs you go into with him, even if you get rid of him as a material, they still have that protection. So you're able to basically keep a 3k defense body with Draglubion, and they won't be able to get rid of it. So here's that effect if you want to read it. Cannot be destroyed by opponent's battle or card effects. And finally, we have the last 2 monsters of the deck, and that is the 2 Necroface. Necroface is useful in this deck. It's kind of a meme, honestly, but it's good when you have little cards in your deck because you banished everything. So when he gets normal summoned, you pretty much recycle all your banished cards, and he gains 100 attack for each card that's shuffled into the deck with his effect. He's at 1200 attack already, so you know, he doesn't really become a beat stick or anything, but he's just good to keep your game going. If you go into a stall match, you're not really gonna like go for time or stall with this deck, because the point of this deck is to get Grand Maju over 9k hit for game. You don't like playing for time. It's not that effective just because Golden Castle does this banish the 10 cards, and if you want to use Gizmic that same turn, that's 18. So Gold Sarcophagus, if this card was at 2 or 3, I would definitely play it at that ratio, but limited for now. Good pairing with Necroface. If you draw Gold Sarcophagus, banish Necroface face up, and then you both players banish the top 5 cards from their deck. Really good at banishing their materials. I mean their cards, and you know, you could get some good stuff from there. Golden Castle at 3. Like I did mention, this card has a lot of text. Pretty much, you could search from your deck, special summon any card that specifically lists this card in the text. In this case, being Hextrude and Glyph the Phantom Bird, and you get to special summon them every turn. Then it mentions how you do have to banish the 10 cards face down from your deck, or this card gets destroyed. And that's even if this card leaves the field. So just a big heads up. Now, the secondary effect is the one where they declare an attack. That monster immediately gets destroyed, and they take half the battle damage. That is not a once per turn. So as long as you have this card on the field, if they don't get rid of it during their main phase, they will not have a good time. Their monsters will get destroyed. They will take that damage. Most of the time, though, like whenever they read it and I explain that is not a once per turn, they just pass. And from there, you could special summon Hextrude, pop their monster, go for a game. Just remember that this is not a once per turn. Like, I know I emphasized that 3 times already, but like a lot of people will try to tell you that it is a once per turn and that you won't be able to make your plays. But no, it is not a once per turn. Up next, the Raigeki. Interrupt the Kaijus number. So good, because they either add shit or lose their board, honestly. Up next, we do have Pot of Desires. Another reason why Necroface is like needed in this deck. This is 20 cards banished, 30, 40 with 50 with Golden Castle. It is a 45 card deck though, so you do have more time pretty much. But yeah, Pot of Desires at 2. You get that draw 2. And more ammo for Golden Castle. I mean, Gren Maju. I don't know why I keep saying that. Change of Heart. Still, you know, we are playing 2 triple attacks in this deck. Taking their monsters for Zombie Vampire, like I explained in the last video. That is still very much needed. just because Zombie Vampire is so amazing. So again, the best hand trap in the game. We have 3 Infinite Impermanence. Going second deck, you want to have at least one of these in your opening hand, and you get to stop them from making their place. Now for the final set in the deck, 3 Super Polymerization. This card is so amazing. Like, if you need to run this in this format, just because every deck really has like the requisites for our super poly targets. If you're going against DDD, you know, all their monsters are dark, so that's Starving Venom. That's if you want to run the other Predaplant card, Branded, you know, they have the fusion and the dark monsters. Literally anything they play. Like, I recently went up against in this last locals I went to, I went up against Marincess, and they had Totally Awesome and another one of their Link monsters on the field. They were the same attribute, obviously water, but different types. So I got rid of those 2 with Mudragon of the Swamp. Yeah, this card is just, you need to run this card in whatever deck that you're gonna make. If you're starting out and you're wondering like what cards are essential other than Ash Blossom, which I'm not running just because I don't have it, this card is definitely one of them. All right, and to get us started, we do have Dingirsu, the much needed card in the extra deck, just because when you do, if you go first, or even going second actually, their priority will be to get rid of Golden Castle, you know, to pop it. So with Dingirsu on the field, you do get to stop that 2 times from happening. Could it even be in the same turn, because his protection effect is not a once per turn, as long as you have the 2 materials to go with it. Now, just a heads up, you cannot go into him with Astral Kariba because he is not a number card, but any other level 8, go into Dingirsu to get that protection. Up next, standard, we do have the Draglubion package. Like I mentioned before, with you can go into any of these 2 with Astral Kariba to give them that protection against card effects and battle damage. So I usually end up going into Draglubion, putting him in defense, and then from here, same thing as the other Grand Maju deck. If you're going first, Hope Harbinger. If you're going second, Nomura. Now up next, we do have the Sky Dragon again, just because that you know, negate on your side of the field, grave or banish zone is still really overpowered in my opinion. Saphinon, same thing, stop them from summoning from the grave. If they want to like get real like with the card, they will try to Monster Reborn you and get the Grand Maju, just because you are banishing on their side of the field with Necroface, or they just want to take anything from you, you know, just you can't summon that from the graveyard as long as he's like his effect is live. Up next, we do have Lancelot. Now Lancelot is really good because as long as he has material, he could attack directly. I definitely want to incorporate Zeus into this and the other Grand Maju build, because he could attack, like I mentioned, attack directly as long as he has material, and he is a force negate. That, just a heads up, he needs to negate as long as he has material. It's not optional. So this is the last thing, like when you summon him, make sure that's the last thing that you want to activate, because he will negate anything else. Like if you try to activate a danger, he's going to negate it, lose a material. So yeah, and he is only 2000 attack, but you could go into him with Hesper Karibo, give him the protection, and then just keep hitting. Up next, we have another dragon, the Heroic Sky Dragon, Overlord of Heliopolis. Now, what he does is you get to tribute any cards from your hand or field and monsters, and then you get to non-target destroy that same amount of cards on the field. So it doesn't have to be monsters. It could be like any spell or traps, as long as it's the same amount of cards that you tributed. So it's really good, really good. Up next, Zombie Vampire. Like I mentioned in the last video, overpowered, just because that milling is really great, and A lot of decks are nothing but special summoning, so they won't be able to target him with their effects. Unless they're from the graveyard. But still a really good pairing with this card is that Saphinon. So, go into him, make his effect go live. They can't special summon. You do have 2 materials with that, so you can do it twice. And then go into the zombie vampire. They can't bring him from the graveyard. They can't target him with anything. So, just a heads up. As long as they're special summon, they can target him if they're from the hand, like a Ghost Ogre, or if they normal summon a monster. Up next, we have the links. I am running a couple links in this deck. Topologic Ceroboros, which is a Grand Maju 2.0, and the Dark. BLS, my flex of the deck. You do not need to run this card. You could, if you want to go into any of the nightmares, the Griffon, Unicorn, or the Bird. But I'm running him because as long as you make him with a level 7 or higher monster, he does gain protection from card effects. And all 3 optional effects are really good. He could either make a second attack the next battle phase. He gains 1500 attack, so that'll make him a 45k beat stick. Or you could banish 1 card on the field. Now, Dark is really good because you do have a lot of... all your monsters are darks except the Glyph, I believe. So with him, you can basically get a dark monster from the graveyard onto your side of the field. And when he gets destroyed, you could special summon Bigfoot from your deck in defense mode. So yeah, that's why he's really good. Just because if you're going up against Brandon, if you get Mirror Jade in the graveyard, you can go ahead and go into Dark, activate his effect to get Mirror Jade, and get rid of their boss monster pretty much. And up next, Topologic Ceroboros. He's at 3k, and he gains attack for every card that is banished. So, really easy to get him up there. He's like the Chen Ying of this deck. So if you special summon him to whatever link zone, say he's right here, and then you summon another monster. If you haven't used that special summon from Golden Castle, summon Hextrude, where he points, right here. Boom. Every card on the field gets banished, including him, because that is his effect. And if your opponent does not know, or if you force them into that zone, every card of the field is banished, and he gets brought back the next standby phase. So during when they pass, if you do it during your turn, pass, they go, he comes back on the field with that attack gained. So yeah, very easy to get him up there in attack power. And finally, once again, we do have Super Poly targets. Really great cards. These are along with Super Poly, like I mentioned before, they're really, really needed in today's meta. Because when I'm side decking, the most I side out for Super Poly is 1 copy. But especially in this deck, since you are getting rid of a lot of your cards, you want to make sure that Super Poly is live. So I try not to do that, and just to get these on the field, it's GG's if you get rid of their boards with these. Okay, and now to get us started with the side deck, we do have the cards that are gonna go ahead and banish during their turn. Different Dimension Ground being 3 of them. Dimensional Fissure, super great. And then we do have 2 Dimension Shifter. I'm showing these in sets because that's what I usually side deck in. I either do all 3 or none. For Dimension Ground, it is a great trap card because any monster sent to the graveyard that turn is banished instead. Dimension Shifter, same thing but hand trap. And then Dimensional Fissure is the continuous spell. These stop a lot of decks that can't play around that banishing effect. So it's really good at stopping their plays, getting that extra turn, getting them to pass right away. And from there you can go ahead and OTK. Now, just a heads up, they're in different sleeves because I took my Blue Eyes deck to my past locals and I'm just too lazy to switch them. Spoiler alert, Blue Eyes deck profile coming up soon. First we have, same thing, 2 Nib, 1 Pank Shops. Like I mentioned in the other video, best going second card, Nib. It's Nib. Stops a lot of decks from playing. Twin Twisters, just because we still have the dangers. You can definitely go Cosmic Cyclone instead to banish the cards instead of getting them in the graveyard. But yeah, like I mentioned, I run this because of the dangers. And finally, 3-dimensional barrier. This card is so amazing. Like, along with Super Poly, essential card in your side deck, in my opinion. Just because you stop almost everything. Branded, Shadow, Pranked, not really Pranked because they were Link. And they're not relevant anymore. Shadow Konami. Fusions. This past locals, I used this card. There was a Dragon Link player who kept on bringing out Dragoon. And, you know, right when he activated Red Eyes Fusion, he chained this, declare Fusion. And he can't special summon Dragoon, so you get rid of the Red Eyes Fusion. It happened like 2 times. So yeah, they're really good at stopping their boss monster from getting on the field. And that is it for the side deck. And that is it for the deck profile, guys. If you enjoyed the content, if you're still here making it to the end, please go ahead and give a like, subscribe if you want to keep watching my videos. I will be doing a combo guide, like I mentioned in the end of the last video, for both the Gren Maju and this deck. I just wanted to profile them first because I will probably do them together, just because these decks are not very combo related. You know, especially with the Golden Castle version, the point of these decks is you just want to get Gren Maju in the field and OTK. For the future, I will be doing a Blue Eyes deck profile. I am trying to make it relevant in the meta just because I love that card. So it would be like a Blue Eyes Branded or a Blue Eyes Fusion Control. Thank you so much again for watching the video. It's your boy Valence, and have an amazing day.